Peace, salam, Ungawa, Black Power. Let's wish Stokely Carmichael, aka Kwame Ture, a heavenly happy birthday. Panther in peace. Well, it ain't peace until it's over. Now, we're gonna look up the rest of this, because I told you I'm gonna watch the rest of the speech on my own. But I still got faith in y'all, so maybe I wanna watch it too. Maybe I never heard of Stokely Carmichael or the Black Panther movement. Again, this is in Newark, New Jersey, 1971. I believe the riots out there was in 67. All right.
We must have land. If you don't own land, you are dependent upon those who own the land. We must have land. It is from the land that we get everything. The clothes we wear comes from the land in the form of the cotton that we pick. What we eat comes from the land in the form of the agricultural foodstuffs that we grow. All of the materials necessary for a technological and industrialized society comes from the land in the form of raw resources, copper, zinc, oil, etc., etc., etc. Land, then, is the basis of revolution. Land is what we must fight for. Once we control the land, we will control the superstructure, which is the system that rests upon that land. Land, my brothers and sisters, land if you've been reading Brother Malcolm X. Land if you understand Ho Chi Minh. Land if you understand Mao Zedong. Land if you understand Ahmed Sekou Ture. Land if you understand Osagyefo, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. And as simple and humble as I am, I also say land.
Let's talk about how we are landless. That is a victimization to be landless. What other human beings are landless? Are we mermaids? Are we birds? It's a sad thing, but it's true. You know, people think that they might be so tough and or they run their section and things like that, but we truly don't have land as a people. And what we need to do is come together. All of these tribes, as we say in LA, it's trying to come together for the true uh, turf that we haven't yet attained. You know, and we are the only us black people in America, black Americans, or Moors, colored, so many different names, but we know who we're talking about. The diaspora, the descendants, we're the only ones that really can change things. You know, truly. Well, we bring the change and we bring so much innovation, just too much. Let's continue though.
Land is the basis of revolution. Before we get to talk about land, we must talk about a particular political development in relationship to land that has developed. This is particularly important for us simply because it will deal with our ideology. There has been come to develop over the few centuries what is known as settler colonies, or more specifically, European settler colonies. A European settler colony is a land base where the European leaves Europe, comes to somebody else's land, takes over the land, and subjugates the original owners of the land to a most vicious type of system. European settler colony. A European settler colony. The white boy leaves Europe, comes to somebody else's land, takes over the land, imposes his system upon the original owners of the land. The method, the means for doing this is sheer barbaric force. Sheer barbaric force, quite compatible with his nature. My wife is from South Africa. South Africa is a European settler colony. White boys leave Europe, come to our mother continent, rip off the richest part of our continent, and subjugate our brothers and sisters to a most oppressive form of government known as apartheid. Only other place you find such an oppressive form of government is here in North America. Mozambique is a settler colony. Angola is a settler colony. Rhodesia is a settler colony. But we must examine Rhodesia simply because Rhodesia allows us to understand one of the major characteristics of a settler colony. One of the major characteristics of a settler colony is...
I think that's where Leonardo DiCaprio and Blood Diamond was supposed to have been from.
that they changed the name.
And then even the name of it has changed, I think, again since 1967, with Brother Kwame, if I'm meant to be exact. I'm not sure.
When the European arrives on the land, he changes the name. He changes the name for two reasons. One, he wants to obviate history at best and at worst distort it. And two, he wants to legitimatize his existence on the land. Two reasons. He wants to obviate history, or at least distort it. And number two, legitimatize his existence on the land. The real name of Rhodesia is Zimbabwe. The real name of Rhodesia is Zimbabwe.
I don't think he's saying Zimbabwe. I think he's saying Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe, I think. Not sure. Or
And if one were to understand that, when one begins to study, one would study Zimbabwe. One would see the growth of our ancestors building a civilization and understand Rhodesia as a barbaric interpretation to our way of life. Very important. Because if you don't analyze history correctly, starting with Zimbabwe, one is apt to begin with Rhodesia, which is only a barbaric interpretation. And if one were to understand that, when one begins to study, one would study Zimbabwe. One would see the growth of our ancestors building a civilization and understand Rhodesia as a barbaric interpretation to our way of life. Very important. Because if you don't analyze history correctly, starting with Zimbabwe, one is apt to begin with Rhodesia, which is only a barbaric interpretation.
you ever see so many afros in the room, so collected and unified, man? It probably smell like Egyptian musk and cocoa butter in there. You heard? They probably had the incense burning. Yeah, I know they probably had some reefers. One of them. But yo, this is beautiful. This is what black excellence is right here. This right here is black excellence, y'all. Pay attention. Watch. Now they do this for Freeway Ricky Ross and for Rick Ross. Now they do this, you know what I mean, for all these poison oats. These were the original origins of the style where people try to be, rebellious, strong, some of a black man. These rappers get they rap from back in the days when blacks love to be black. Talking about these days, then they switch it over to the drug empires. You know what I mean? Then you have people that try to mix. I know a lot in the eastern states. There be some brothers that be trying to be have some kind of moral code with poison in the community. I mean? It's a mental illness. Morality, or or even being a part of revolutionary units, or what gangs what eastern states thought what gangs were supposed to be. A lot of people had joined gangs because they thought it was.
We say it again about Igani, a literary master,
It's in Newark, New Jersey, Brick City, right here.
none other than Newark's own Imamu Amidi Baraka. Good evening, my brothers and sisters. Before I begin, I would like to take the pleasure to introduce my wife, Mrs. Carmichael, who sings once in a while.
I'm about to say, you see nothing but blackness, you heard?
So is history. We were just discussing in the car on our way to the office the very first time he started the black arts repertoire in Newark, New York. Many people are not even aware of that. If you're not aware of that, you cannot really be aware of Brother Baraka, because in order to understand where one is going, one must understand one's history.
Mm.
It is of
Just say that. Yeah, man. I must have been from back in these era. I'm telling you.
vital importance. Thus, for those of you who don't know, I suggest that you begin to study his history. He has a history, and he has given a lot of his time and energy to helping build and create for his people viable institutions. My last time in Newark, I believe, was in 1968. 68, yes. This is
So he came a year after the riots. We had to see. He had a speech after the riots in Newark that my grandparents was talking about. I mean, my column.
1971. Were I to return to Newark in 1971 after having done some travel and some serious studying, and say the same things I said in 1968, it would demonstrate the fact that I was not growing. If I were to return to Newark in 1971 and reflect the same attitude which I did in 1968, it would demonstrate the fact that I was not growing. Not only was I not growing particularly, but the black struggle in general was not growing. I cannot say the same things I said in 1968 and 1971. That would be redundant, and everyone knows that redundancy is the highest manifestation of ignorance. Thus, it is impossible for me to do that. I cannot come here to rap tonight. I can rap. I know that. You know that. We have rapped. But we cannot rap our way out of the oppression in which we find ourselves.
That's where real rap came from. I mean, rapping just mean talking. People talking, you know what I mean, making it rhyme. Pimps do it all the time, you know. These are our real leaders. I don't think no other culture have musicians as leaders or entertainers, you know. But American culture, it's crazy.
We must take a serious attitude, and we must do some serious analyses and try to pose the correct solutions to the problems. The entire black world, from South Africa to Nova Scotia, finds itself in political chaos, disorganized and disunited, simply because we have not yet found a common ideology, an ideology which represents
I agree 100%. Like I said, Malcolm said, you gotta, keep your religion. You know what I mean? Back there, you feel me, when it comes to black people or diaspora or land or a common consensus, we need to have a certain organization for common cause, a common, you know what I mean, a movement together. You feel me? I definitely agree.
our communal interest, all of us, all black people. I am an Nkrumahist. That is my ideology. My ideology is Nkrumism. Cannot talk about Nkrumism tonight simply because many people have not seriously studied the works of Dr. Nkrumah. And whether one agrees or disagrees, it is important that one studies
Said Dr. Nkrumah? Who is that?
because he has played an important role in the lives of all black people. The basis of my ideology is Pan Africanism. I can talk about Pan Africanism. I can talk about Pan Africanism because I contend
What's up, Jazz? How are you? You know me. same old revolutionary. You feel me? That I've been, even back in the day, you know, when I was in the streets or whatever. Just the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? Oh nah, you know, I ain't no street dude. No, not me. Been revolutionary. You feel me?
That the true and logical hearers of Brother Malcolm X are the Pan Africanists in this country. I
What's going on, brother Flip Thought? Did you read your Quran yet, brother Flip Thought? Cause I'm gonna have a part two for that little interview. You heard?
intend to prove that tonight. I will read directly from the works of Brother Malcolm X. I feel that I am on safe ground simply because many people are wearing Malcolm X sweatshirts.
And yeah, I was just saying that this was the original rappers. This is where original gangsters came from. To be a gangster is really revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Pac was revolutionary, but then he was on the sidewalk in and out the streets, or you know, I call it the Tupac syndrome that people have when they have so much light in them and they could be so much more for their families and for their people, but then choose to be the populace or to be cool or the in crowd. Like populations have never been the answer. That's why I think democracy is also interesting because you can, if you sway the nation, then you can sway, you know, the polls or whatnot. You know what I mean? The ballots and things like that. You know, population of people, even any spiritual book, have never popular opinion has never been the right thing. You know what I mean? Like in any book you look at.
Many people are quoting Malcolm X. Unfortunately, few people read him and less study him. But I know that in Newark, New Jersey,
Start talking that talk, and I lost both of them. It's sorry, I'm loving this though.
where the political consciousness of black people is at a peak. But my brothers and sisters in Newark are not rapping, they studying. I know that. Thus, since I know you've been studying and not rapping, I know we can do some serious work analyzing concepts, isolating problems, posing solutions, and quoting and reading from Brother Malcolm X. We need an ideology. An ideology is a guideline, a set of principles, a set of beliefs, goals, aims. It guides the destiny of a people, if you will. One must have an ideology around which one can unify. If one does not have an ideology, one cannot unify. One unifies around emotions, around feelings. They are good and necessary, but they cannot be depended upon. I have an ideology. My ideology is Nkrumahism, but the basis is Pan-Africanism. Thus, tonight I can speak about the ideology Pan-Africanism. I propose to put forth the ideology before you, for you to study, analyze, accept, or reject. I feel that the ideology is the ideology which will unify the African, the black man, all over the world. An ideology, in order to be valid, must have four major points. It must be consistent, it must be scientific, it must be based on the correct interpretation of history, and if the philosophy or the ideology is to be a revolutionary ideology, it must be based on the philosophy of dialectics. 4 points for the ideology. I'm sorry you didn't bring pen and paper. Not that I have anything to teach, but you could write down and agree or disagree later. It's important for you to understand today that when you go to hear people speak, you shouldn't go for feel-good sessions. You know, I'm often reminded when 2 years ago we were rapping, you know, and let's say you miss a meeting, you'd see someone say, "Hey, brother, were you at the rap?" "Yeah, I was there." "What did the brother say?" "Oh,
See, rapping back then it just meant talking, or you know, me get down to revolutionary things. I'm telling you, all these things is connected. Even with the nation, even with Malcolm, Shabazz, you feel me? A lot is connected.
oh, baby, he just ran it on down."
Y'all don't even know, at least younger circles or younger minded circles don't even know where a lot of this hip hop thugism came from. You know what I mean? Pac, Pac idolized these people.
"What did the brother say?" "Oh, he just told it like it was." "What did the brother say?" "Oh, he opened up everybody's eyes." "What did the brother say?" "Oh, you should have been there. The brother just rapped." "What did the brother say?" But the fact is, the brother ain't said nothing.
Mm.
The brother made us feel good.
Mm.
He made us feel good, but he didn't say anything. It was necessary at that time to make us feel good. It was necessary. Today, it is insufficient. We must move on.
Ooh, that's like a lot of these movements. They say, "Oh, we are God. We are this." Like they have knowledge itself, but that's not enough anymore. Okay, you got your ego back, black man, black woman. You got your ego back, but how are we gonna move forward with this? And I mean, that was just to make you feel good, because all of the psychological and social abuse that's going on with you.
An ideology must be consistent. An ideology must be scientific. An ideology
Shout out to my two viewers, man. I appreciate every single eyeball.
must be based on the correct interpretation of history. And if it is to be revolutionary, it must be based on the philosophy of dialectics. Four major points of the ideology. My ideology makes certain assumptions which you must agree with. My major assumption is that we are all Africans. All black people are Africans. All Africans are black people.
Okay, so I think he's meaning Black Americans or the descendants of the slave trade, or I don't know what he means by that, because I know Indians are very black. They literally had purple gods they worship. I mean, blue gods they worship because they were blue black, and they were Dravidian. I guess that's the name, or in India. But I know what he's saying. Yeah, I'm African. Feel me? Um, just wanted to know my tribe so bad. I did my little test over different applications for ancestry, different DNA tests, and so it was like 75. I'm like three-quarters African. I'm like I thought I was at least 89. You know what I'm saying? 89, but you never know. But still, but yeah, we gotta realize that we African. That's the land of milk and honey right there.
Many people may not want to accept the fact that they're Africans, but they cannot deny that they came from Africa. And if one denies one's past and one's heritage, one has a problem. One has a problem. There is no difference between us. We are the same people, blood of the same blood, and flesh of the same flesh. I was born in Trinidad in the Caribbean, the West Indies. There is no difference between you and I. The only difference is the slave ship left me in Trinidad and brought you here. That is the only difference. Only difference.
That's a fact. That's a fact. Shout out to Sister Coco. She told me something about her family history. I think her grandmother, her great grandmother, um, she had paperwork on. She actually found about one of her ancestors that was a slave. You know what I mean? And that's amazing. That's groundbreaking. And what she was telling me is that she was taken from Africa, and in Jamaica, some Irishmen brought her in Jamaica and then took her to America. You know what I'm saying? So she actually stopped in Jamaica, then got brought there. Somebody bought her, and then to America.
My wife is from South Africa. There is no difference between the three groups. The only difference is the slave master missed her in South Africa and got us. Only difference. Thus, there is no difference. And in order for us to form a common ideology, we must understand that we are the same people with the same interests at stake, fighting the same enemy. Brother Malcolm X. Yes, sir. I'll read him for you because tomorrow. Revolution is not about dying. Revolution is about destroying the enemy so you can build what you have to build. A gorilla is mature. He's not a child.
Mm.
The gorilla studies. 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 He doesn't rap. He studies.
Hey yo, he just made a hook right there. I'm telling you, this is real hip hop right here. Real spill. To be knowing and to move to it. To be hip, to know. To move to it, hop to it. The knowledge and movement with it. Hip hop message. Bars, nigga.
He studies. He studies. If you want to be a gorilla,
Hey, Jazzy. Remember, ain't no difference. Ain't no difference. We all Havocan.
throw a
We ain't from Crenshaw Mafia. No disrespect to them. I'm out here in Cali. No disrespect. But yeah, the movie. John Singleton. You heard.
away your attitude and your badness and study. If you want to serve your people, throw away your bad attitudes, study, analyze a
My bad, Jay. Ain't no problem. What up, JJ? What's good, man? It's all good, my sister.
little.
You know what I mean? JJ trying to order some Uber Eats, huh?
Understand and listen. Don't talk so bad. We the baddest people. We know that. We the baddest. We've done what no other people could do and still survive. We bad. We know we're bad. There's a big confrontation coming on our hands. A big one. It's going to be the final one. It's going to be the final one. We have to win that one. We have to win that one. We will win that one. We will win that one. It will
See how he repeats himself. This is oratory skills. This is things that Dr. Umar does to get the message across to you. Like I'm still thinking about the gorilla studies. The gorilla studies. Gorilla studies. Gorilla study. You smell me?
be very bloody. It will be very long. It will be very bloody. It will be more bloody than the Chinese Revolution. It will be longer than the Vietnamese Revolution. In order to win that one, we have to function as one. We have to function as one. We have to function as one. I do not ask you to accept my ideology. You may not agree with it. You may disagree with it. But I ask you to study and analyze the concepts that I put forth for you tonight. That's all I ask. If you study them, accept or reject them, you will be more revolutionary than all the bad people with guns on the street. I promise you that. Because if you do that, you will have an understanding. Revolution is a science.
Mm.
It must be studied. In China, they study the thoughts of Mao Zedong. The whole country studies the thoughts of Mao Zedong. All of them, they study and analyze the thoughts of Mao Zedong. They criticize and self-criticize. Picking up the gun is never a hard thing to do. It's very easy. You can force people to pick up the gun. You can outright force them like America forces people to go to Vietnam, or you can put them in situations where they are forced to pick up the gun. Picking up the gun is never very hard. Studying is very difficult because it takes a
Picking up the gun is not hard at all. But studying, that's when you tough. You must sharpen your mind. Strong like tiger. Strong like two tiger.
certain amount of dedication. It is not glorious. You can't be seen on television talking about how bad you are. You have to stay up. And when you don't understand, go over and discuss. But once you understand, you know that you cannot be whooped. Once you understand, you know that you cannot be whooped. And once you know that you cannot be whooped scientifically and feel it emotionally, victory is inevitable. Victory is inevitable. For Pan-Africanism, our brothers and sisters must work where they are. They must work on the grounds where they are. We must try to consolidate the power that we have. But I beg you to stop rapping. I beg you and plead with you to start studying and understanding what is
Stop rapping. Start studying. Stop rapping. Start studying.
ahead of us. Simply because our people need you, because you are our people and your people is you. I thank you. Stokely Carmichael.
Mm.
We will become powerful. And as we become powerful,
That one right there look like a straight fed. Wait, hold on. The one the light on right there. Hold on. Him right here. Look, look, look. Everybody happy? Everybody happy on the forehead?
Pan Africanists say our land base, our priority must be Africa. Our land base, our priority must be Africa. Because as we develop Africa, she will become powerful. And as she becomes powerful, we will become powerful. And as we become powerful, our power relationship will diminish between us and our enemy. Us and our enemy. Some people propose that we take land in America. We must understand that if we talk about taking
Okay, yeah, I think Malcolm was kind of thinking about that. Us having our state within America, and then to be able to help Africa. Maybe we gotta research the RNAA. I think it's the Republic of New Africa, New African Republic. That was the political movement he was doing outside of Islam. He had two. He had the Mosque Inc. or Mosque Cares, and he had the Republic of New Africa. So, like he said, you put your religion in the closet if you want that for a revolution, because we always want to bicker and banter and rap about God or who's this or who's that, and all these Willie Lynch syndrome topics. If anybody ain't talk about Stokely Carmichael on here, on this YouTube metaverse, that's what I mean, in these gangs that claim origin from revolutionary units, then they're not for the people. You know what I mean? They these are not real individuals.
land, we've got to kill for the land. We've got to fight for the land. My wife is my assistant. That's right. I don't have no problems with the role of women in the movement. She's my assistant. She carry guns. She do everything else she's supposed to.
That's right. You heard? He said my wife's my sister. She do everything revolution. She carry guns. She do. Brother Kwame or Stokely, he passed away in Conakry, Guinea. You know what I mean? Moved to Africa, all that. You feel me?
And she has a political ideology, which is the same as mine. Thus, there's no conflict, no problem.
MashaAllah, he has a wife with the same political ideologies. It's beautiful. Oh man.
We will have to kill for the land. That's the only way we're going to get it. We'll have to kill for this land because the white boy killed for this land. And if I killed for something and somebody came to me and asked for it, I'd kill them for being so stupid. Once you kill for something, you must keep on killing to keep it. It's only logical. That's what.
Ooh. Once you whoop for something, you got to keep on whooping to keep it. That's what these gangs do. They got to keep to keep these territories and things like that, or they're going to be taken over. Something built on blood, something from that can never be a positive thing.
Talking about killing. There's nothing wrong with that because wherever we are, we have to kill for the land. But since we've got to kill, let's make our priority the richest piece of land. You can fit America 16 times into Africa.
And fit America. See, he was saying this back then. You know how people just found out, like, oh, the size of Africa is really bigger. Yeah, you think? You know what I mean? Richest continent on the planet. He ain't lying.
16 times. If you wanted to compare the wealth of Africa and America, America would be chump change compared to Africa. If you wanted to take land, you would have to follow revolutionary procedures. You would have to seize the land, hold the land, develop the land, and then expand again. You must seize, hold, develop, and expand. Seize, hold, develop, and expand again. We may be able to seize some land here. I doubt it. But let's grant that we can. I don't think we'd be able to hold it. But let's even grant that we could hold the land. We could not develop it as fast as we could develop the land in Africa, simply because Africa is the richest continent in the world. Thus, it makes clear logical sense that our priority must be Africa. Our priority must be Africa. Has to be.
I see why he moved to Africa and all that. So he's saying not to get land in America, to the priority to be Africa. What do y'all think about that? Should we have our own state in America, our own land in America, or should we rebuild Africa? Let me know.
I know you have problems with it, but I will answer all your questions for you. You say you've been reading Brother Malcolm? I say the land base has to be in Africa. Brother Malcolm, the man you quote, the man you say is your hero, but the man you don't study. I've never seen people who don't study their heroes. Page 129. If your power base is only here, you can forget it.
I never seen anyone study it, not study the heroes. Malcolm definitely my hero, and my father, he definitely had the autobiography. I think we all read that book. I did not finish it. I will not lie, but we should study him most definitely. I still do.
You can't build a power base here. You have to have a power base among brothers and sisters. You have to have your power base among people who have something in common with you. They have to have some kind of cultural identity, or there has to be some relationship between you and your power base. When you build a power base in this country, you're building it where you aren't in any way related to what you build it on. No, you have to have the base somewhere else. You can work here, but you'd better put your base somewhere else. Don't put it in the man's hand. Any kind of organization that is based here can't be an effective organization. Anything you've got going for you, if the base is here, it's not going to be effective. Your and my base must be at home, and this is not at home. Brother Malcolm X. Brother Malcolm X. Hey, man. Had you been written, actually,
He did do a lot of visits different countries in Africa, Brother Malcolm. It wasn't just Egypt. You know, I know he was in Ghana for sure.
understand how they are confused by the mass media. You know, they have revolutionary cars, revolutionary soap powder, revolutionizing this. We have some brothers and some sisters in our community who try to look revolutionary. Are you hip to that? They don't try to be revolutionary, they try to look.
Did you hear him? He said, "Are you hip to that? They don't try to be revolutionary. They try to look revolutionary." It's like a fad, you know what I mean? Just like people faking a funk for the music industry, portraying an image, but you're just poison for the population. You're not for the people, and you're gonna use our victimization to your advantage to fill your own pockets and your earthly desires.
Revolutionary. Not only do they try to look revolutionary, try to act like revolutionary. Yes. They understand nothing about revolution. This is only what the white man's television has given to them. Thus, they try to get an image of a revolutionary. And usually, these people who try to be revolutionary are usually dirty. Thus, they think to be revolutionary, one must be dirty. That is absurdity. I have met many revolutionaries in the world, and not one of them came to me dirty. Ho Chi Minh isn't dirty. Mao Zedong is not dirty. Ahmed Sekou Ture is not dirty. Osajifo Dr.
He met Mao.
Kwame Nkrumah is not dirty. Fidel Castro is not dirty. Why do our people feel that
He met Fidel too in these times.
in order to be revolutionary, they must be dirty? It is simply because they've gotten this nonsense from the white left. That's where they got it from. The white left are bourgeois. They are bourgeois. They're rich little white kids trying to be black. And they think in order to be black, they got to be poor. In order to be poor, they got to be dirty.
Mm. You should hear what he said. Rich white kids, they want to be black. They still do the same thing today. Have you seen No Jumper? It's a little white boy on there wild and called Lil Brazy from Utah.
I had one pair of pants when I went to school. My mother ironed those pants every day until they shined. Invited to give a political lecture.
That came out. You know how they be trying to remix the speech or it's old or whatever. That came out. That was wild.
By the community of Newark. I can do that. I have qualifications. I studied political philosophy at Howard University. I graduated with honors, so I'm honest with you. I have, to some degree, participated in the black struggle around the world, to some degree. Maybe not much, it's questionable, but to some degree I've done some work, so my credentials are at least acceptable. Thus, I think that it's necessary for the community to discuss guerrilla warfare, at least on an academic level and abstractly, since I see perhaps it may come. That's it. Tomorrow, don't you all go and tell the man that Carmichael was advocating guerrilla warfare. No. Y'all say to the man, Carmichael said he's a political activist with political scientist training. And he said that given the conditions in this country, if they continue, there's going to be guerrilla warfare. And thus, since there's going to be guerrilla warfare, it would behoove us to at least analyze guerrilla warfare on an academic level.
Unit. Guerrilla unit, huh? 50, 50, 50.
Let's understand it. Now, you must understand a number of things about guerrilla warfare. The main thing about the guerrilla is that his political ideology dominates the use of the gun. In any revolutionary struggle, the military and political leadership are usually combined in one person. But it is the political ideology that dominates the military. The gun never dominates the man. It is the man that dominates the gun. Thus, any true guerrilla is a guerrilla who is first and foremost a
Her shorty in the back. She said, "Indeed."
student of politics. He understands politics. He understands his ideology. If you give a brother a gun and you don't give him an ideology, he will end up shooting himself or shooting you. And we have seen that in this country. You never give a man a gun until you give him a political ideology. I live in Guinea. It's the most revolutionary country in Africa. The entire population is armed. The entire population is armed.
I don't think they armed now.
The government gives us guns. Everybody. The government teaches us how to effectively use these guns. We are armed militarily, but more important, we are armed ideologically.
You got to look that up. What's the state of Guinea going on right now over there in Guinea? Guinea. Shout out to my Fulani, my pale. My bad if I say it wrong, the French way.
Thus, while in Guinea there are more guns in Guinea than there is in any other country in Africa, there is less violence among Africans in Guinea than in any other country in Africa.
Less violence. That's a point right there. Everybody strapped. Back. I don't know how it is now over there in Guinea. He moved to the country with the Bubangtons. He had them skriznaps.
Because we are armed ideologically, we know what the gun is used for, and we used it at the correct moment on November 22nd of last year. Thus, you must understand that
That'll be November 22nd, 1970. I'm gonna have to look that up later.
before you talk about guns, giving somebody guns, give them a political ideology. And if you give everybody the same political ideology, everybody will be doing the same thing at the same time. At the same time. That's very important. The gorilla never functions in large groups. He functions in very small groups. The gorilla doesn't rap, talk about how bad he is. The gorilla doesn't let himself be seen. He is the fish in the sea. The sea represents the masses of his people. The gorilla is always with his people. He's not sitting up in some office rapping about how revolutionary he is. The people are not in the office. If the people are in the church, the gorilla's in the church. The people are in the bars, the gorilla's in the bars. The people are in the streets, the gorilla's in the streets. Wherever the people.
That almost sound like
I think we.
it almost sound like prophethood. You feel me? He said they would send a prophet to all nations. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's almost like a holy thing. You feel me? I mean, to be blessed is to have Africa, most definitely. Breadbasket of the world. Been a minute since I did a little live stream. Not really a minute. I'm getting more accustomed to this YouTube thing. So now I'm gonna need to study. Y'all heard Kwame. He said the gorilla studies. So I'm gonna have to definitely study up on a lot of these things that he was speaking of.
That shit feels so good when you drink it. Yeah, you can drink and eat organisms. It kills all the shit in your body, all the dirt and the mold that you got in your shit, dog, you know what I'm saying? We all got bacteria, you know what I'm saying? But I don't even know the name. Kabunchy, that's the name of it. What? Kombucha. Organism. Enzymes, prohibitats, and whatever, the detox. You need it, dog. So, flag on yourself with this shit. Organism, alright? One. That shit made me feel like I was in a movie, baby. That organism and shit had me like, go over there and touch up. Oh, you need organism.